Hello, and welcome to all the One Piece fans. Today I'm going to be sharing my reaction highlights of episode 64 and 65 of One Piece, and then after the reaction highlights I will be sharing my notes. I think for once my notes are pretty to the point, maybe a little bit shorter than usual, but not too short. So for those of you that actually enjoy those, you can stick around until the end and yeah, let me know what you think. I just want to say thank you all so much for being here and for watching anime with me. Honestly, nothing in the world makes me happier. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and don't forget to share your comments at the end. Did they fix that? Did they glue it back? Snowcroft, and they're still at number 1 and the boss. So we don't know where they are. That's gonna be exciting. Okay, it's time for the review. Starting with episode 64, A Pirate-Loving Town, Arrival at Whisky Peak. Episode 64 apparently had Panda Man in, and I didn't see him while watching, so I'm going to try and find him while editing. So I didn't think I found him. I did find his face on someone's t-shirt, but I don't know if that counts, so I don't know if I missed him somewhere. So if you guys can go rewatch the episode, or if you know where he is in every episode that he's in, let me know if you saw him, because I only saw him on a t-shirt, but I'll get to that part and then you can tell me if that was the Panda Man sighting I was supposed to see. Okay, I just wanted to confirm, is this Kaya? Because he said it's the art of my soul, and I found it really sweet. Also, One Piece characters' feet are quite big. I actually love their design, it's so unique. Okay, here the real notes begin. Volume 12, the volume that covers this part in the story, came out around February 2000. Miss Wednesday and Mr. Nine had to be introduced in these chapters, right? So I don't read the manga at the moment. I will in the future. I don't know when I'll be starting, but eventually I do want to start the manga. It'll probably be, I don't know, but I do want to make videos on those as well, like maybe a review after each couple of volumes. But anyway, I'm sure their personalities were pretty similar in the manga. So the Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday, who they are in the anime was probably like the same that they were in the manga, right? So they had the same kind of gags and weird personalities. So I'm just curious as to whether they inspired Team Rocket, since their antics remind me of them so much. I did some research, and it seems like Jesse and James made their debut in 1997 in an episode of Pokemon called Pokemon Emergency. So it seems like, if anything, if it's true at all, Jesse and James may have inspired a little bit of the personality or behavior behind Miss Wednesday and Mr. Nine. I just found this interesting. It may be true, it may not be true at all. These weird funny villains are not out of the ordinary in anime, but I was just curious about this because I kept thinking of Jesse and James every time I saw Miss Wednesday and Mr. Nine. Like, it's just something about them just reminded me of them so much. Maybe Oda didn't know Jesse and James at all, but since people have mentioned some characters being inspired by real life people, for example, Django was inspired by, some people said Michael Jackson, some people said Steve Tyler, I don't know. To me, I can see a little bit of both. He looks like Steve Tyler, but he's got like Michael Jackson's moves, so I can imagine him being inspired by both those like music legends. I wish I could ask him if, this is like, one day I hope I can meet Oda and I would have a list of questions for him, and this would be one of those questions. Were these two partly inspired by everyone's favorite Team Rocket members? Because they're from an organization, they're kind of like evil, so I was just, but not really evil, kind of lovable too. So I was just wondering, like, were they maybe a little, in a way, I don't know, just their personalities, I don't know. I thought it was a cool question to ask him one day. Now, about the log posts. I don't know how to say that. Log posts. I remember wondering what the purpose was for it, why Oda didn't just let them use a normal compass, and someone replied with the following. The reason Oda, this is from Sean Wayne. The reason Oda decided to use the log post system instead of a compass is that you can't explore the Grand Line freely. With a compass, you can sail where you want, but on the Grand Line, you have to stay on your route, which brings much more danger because even if an island is dangerous, you can't avoid it. So that was also kind of explained in the episode. I don't know if it was 64. Yeah, it was 64 when they got to the island and Luffy said, if there's monsters, we just leave. But they can't because it has to recalibrate or and then Luffy said, well, if it happens, we'll worry about it then. So I really love this attitude. In real life, you can't always apply this, but for the things we mostly worry about that are really out of our control, it's a good idea to repeat this mantra with a smile on your face, like Luffy did in this episode. So I think it's something important that many of us should remember. Like, a lot of us, there's stuff that you can stress about and then you can plan for and that you can, control to some extent. But there's a lot of stuff in our lives that happens and that we stress about and we break our heads over, but we can't control it. So to those things, you just gotta say, well, if it happens, we'll worry about it then. So there's no point in like working yourself up about a lot of stuff. And it's really out of your control. So I just really liked that he had such a good smile on his face. I really wanted to actually, put a picture of the smile or a screenshot of his smile with that quote, but I was posting a lot of pictures already and I was like, oh, I can't just post a bunch of pictures. So I thought I'd just point out that his smile while saying that was so sweet. Okay, so in episode 64 you see the kid that tries to stab Zoro. I didn't realize that, obviously, while watching episode 64. I didn't realize it because I only saw it in episode 65. So it's the kid and the nun, which is like, whoa, foreshadowing. Also, does it count as Panda Man if it's just his face on someone's shirt? So this kid has Panda Man's face on. Excuse me. I don't know if that counts as seeing Panda Man, but let me know. Girls fawning over Usopp should have been a big hint that this town was faking interest or love for these pirates. I'm honestly not trying to diss him. I really think it was a hint. Looking back, I think there were a lot of hints that we could have picked up on. Starting with the title, Pirate Loving Town, ? It was like already hinting at it, and I'm kind of sad that I saw that name because I might have been fooled by them. But I think I knew because, well, I don't remember even seeing the ? I just remember seeing Pirate Loving Town, so I knew they were going to love them. But their ? I don't even remember. But anyway, it doesn't matter in reality because it doesn't really spoil the plot or anything. But I just think this was a hint. Like, I've never seen girls fawn over Usopp and his, he's so, sing my praises, like, I've never seen. So to me this was like, they had to be acting. Like, I should have been suspicious at least. Anyway, I think it's important to remember the organization's name, Baroque. It's Baroque Works, actually. Baroque Works. It seems like their leader is one person who is very secretive. I wonder why and who is it? We have come to know the following members. Miss Monday, Bubbles. Miss Wednesday, I absolutely love her. And Miss Valentine, I think she's cute. But we only get to see her in episode 65, but I already wrote her name down here. Then there's Mr. 9, Mr. 8, and Mr. 5. I think Mr. 5 is the coolest one out of those three. Then there's this picture, which says, the government enjoys its public executions after all. So this was when they were talking about not killing the pirates, otherwise they lose 30%, because apparently the government enjoys public executions. And this is, to me, it's quite a worrying thought. Why does the government enjoy public executions? Is it entertaining for the people who watch? Is it to instill fear in the hearts of wrongdoers, to warn them not to do anything wrong? The second reason would still be like acceptable, I guess, if you believe in the death sentence. But the first reason is quite worrying. Like, is it to entertain? Like, remember in Greek times when there was those big arenas and people would get eaten alive by lions and that was entertainment? Yeah, that's a worrying thought. Okay, so here's just a cool comment from my last video reaction that I wanted to read out loud to you guys. Gabriel Vitor. Here's a fun fact. The whale's design, Laboon, is clearly based on a real sperm whale. They also produce almost the same noises. They are the biggest carnivores currently living on Earth. They're carnivores, so they eat people. They dive really deep in cold seas, and their favorite hunt is giant and colossal squids. And what is this? And what is the animal found in Laboon's belly? Yep, a giant squid. Not talking about the absurd size, but its shape, it's also clearly based on a real giant squid. Just a biology fun fact, proving how smart Oda really is. He probably knew about this and he placed it on his story, something that few would perceive. Well, obviously I didn't notice it, but I think he's definitely done it before, like with, for example, Arlong's, when Arlong, you know, we talked about Arlong and his teeth growing back. It's like, I did some research and I found out that sharks' teeth do grow back really fast. It doesn't grow back instantly, but it's like where our tooth would take like a week, or I don't know how long does a tooth take to grow back. A shark's tooth can do it in like less than a day. So obviously this is a story, so it exaggerates certain facts. Like the sperm whale size is exaggerated, the giant squid size is exaggerated, whatever. And Arlong's, the speed of his teeth growing back is exaggerated. But I do think that Oda does include a lot of cool facts like this, cool references to the real world, you know? Okay. Episode 65, Exploding Santoryu, Zoro versus Baroque Works. So I still, even looking back, I don't know why this episode is called Exploding Santoryu, because I didn't remember Zoro's sword exploding, because no, not a sword. Santoryu means three sword fighting style. So what is exploding? Why does it explode? Is it just like because he like exploded with talent and exploded with impressiveness because he impressed us with his cool moves and stuff? I don't know. But yeah, I was a little bit confused looking back because I didn't read this episode title, and while starting my notes, I always write episode 64, episode 65, and then I go get the names from the fandom page, and I was like, Exploding Santoryu? Why? I'm quite curious if this pinky thing is just a quirk or if it's indicating something important about who they are. Mr. Nine does it too. A lot of the times, like whatever they do, whether they're holding a gun or holding the binoculars, their pinkies are like, it's a thing the whole time. I'm like, why? What? Is it just like a quirk? But this is such a small place to insert it. It's not, like, I can understand like this being a quirk, like it's funny, but even here, it seems like it goes further than just being a quirk. Is it pointing at something? I don't know yet. I love this Zoro, when that kid tried to stab him and the nun, and they tried to fool him. I was like, nah, this is a clear setup. You're supposed to use the innocent act against kind-hearted people. I love this line from Zoro, but he ends up using the back of his sword on them to not hurt them too badly. So even though he's not gullible, I think he's still a kind-hearted person. It kind of makes me wonder, you know, how does Zoro see himself? It doesn't look like he sees himself as a kind person, but I think he's actually really kind-hearted. Note, Miss Wednesday says, it seems we finally get our chance to debut. What does this mean? Obviously it has something to do with their organization they belong to, but what does it mean to debut exactly, and why have they not debuted yet? I wonder how long they've been in the organization, since we find out later that, you know, she's this princess and he's this army general, captain of a royal guard. Yes. So, and they infiltrated Baroque Works. So up to now, have they not been official members because they haven't made their official debut yet, or something like that? So I kind of wonder what it means to actually debut. Is that your first kill or something, or your first bounty? Not sure how it works. I didn't say it out loud, but I knew when Igapa, Mr. Irritating here, Mr. 8, he said, I have an important mission to accomplish. I knew it was like, what's your mission? Because it can't be to capture bounty, pirates, whatever. That doesn't, like, that's not a mission. That's just your job or whatever. It doesn't feel mission-y to me. It's almost too vague. So I knew it felt like it pointed to something. He mentioned an important mission. I'm excited to know what this mission is. I knew it was hinting at something important about these characters, and it seems like it has something to do with them hiding their identity for some reason. I don't know why I typed it that way in the notes, because I'm thinking his mission is... No. Obviously, I don't know the mission yet. I was going to say, clearly his mission is to protect the princess, but that's not really a mission either. That's protecting... You also, if you want to accomplish it, you never accomplish protecting someone. You protect them for the rest of your life, especially if you're a guard. So, a royal guard, captain, whatever. So, a mission is like protecting her and getting her back safely somewhere. Like, it's more to the point, you know? So, I'm still curious about what that mission actually really is. Miss Valentine, we discovered that important members of a certain kingdom had infiltrated Baroque works. Mr. 9 didn't seem to know what she was referring to, because he freaked out and said, "No, wait, I'm not really a king. This is just for my fashion." So it seems like it's just Miss Wednesday and the crazy hair dude, Mr. 8. Why did I call him the crazy hair dude? Mr. 8. It seems like it's just Miss Wednesday and Mr. 8 that comes from that kingdom, the kingdom of Arabasta, as Mr. 5 called it. Crazy hair guy is like, why do I keep calling him crazy hair guy? I forgot his name apparently while I was doing these notes. Mr. 8. Wait, what did I just delete? Oh. Mr. 8 is the captain of the Arabasta Royal Guard, and his mission that he mentioned earlier seems to be to protect the princess, who I'm assuming is Miss Wednesday, Princess Nefertari Vivi. Although it hasn't been outright stated, the picture pretty much confirms it, because they look exactly the same. But I mean, that it could be her sister or her mother, but I mean, that technically makes her a princess anyway. So yeah, no, I think it seems to be pointing at that. So these two are together. He's captain of the Royal Guard, so obviously he would be with the princess, you know? Here are some fun and interesting comments. The first one from, these are both from patrons. The first one is from William. Let them rest. They had a busy day today. Such clever writing, considering they ran themselves ragged earlier on the ship, so in episode 64. So they'd be extra passed out. Oh, and the line itself was badass too, of course. And then an alias. Not sure if someone mentioned it earlier, but those complicated names on the gravestones were the names of real people. E.g., Ekusonok Adus is the chief director of the series, so that's Konosuke Uda. So a lot of the names apparently, when I read that, I went back and I looked at the episode, and it's like normal Japanese names, but it's just spelled backwards, and then it sounds so confusing. But I wonder, like, why? What the heck? Wouldn't it be kind of creepy to put your name backwards on a gravestone? Like, is that the best way to, I don't know, honor someone in your in your series? Is that the best way to honor someone in a series? I don't know. To me, it would be kind of like, don't jinx it, you know? But yeah, those are my notes for these two episodes. It's starting to feel like 2 episodes are just not enough, because I've gotten used to doing 3, but it also depends, because sometimes the episodes are really information heavy, whereas this was mostly just arriving in the town and Zoro fighting, so that's why I think it felt short. Some of my favorite moments were every moment with Zoro, really. Usopp making that joke about contracting the I can't get on this island disease. That was one of my favorites. And then Miss Wednesday's freaking derpiness. I don't even know what you call that. It's so cringe. Like, with that bird duck thing, and then her move that she did. Tick, tick, tick. I don't even know the sound. Who else? What? No. And then she ran, and the thing ran right by Zoro. That was funny. That was so funny. I really like a lot of the characters, like Miss Valentine. I like her character design. Mr. 5. That line from Zoro saying, what is this guy, an action figure? So yeah, these 2 episodes had a lot of great moments, some very interesting characters. I really like Miss Wednesday, this princess girl. I've liked her since the first time I saw her. Not more than Nojiko at the moment. I think I need to learn a little bit more about her. But I wonder if she's not really a villain, I'll obviously move her off of the villains list, because at the moment she's on the villains list. If I can show you most up-to-date One Piece list, so you just open that. I did mention this last time though. At the moment she's 3rd on my up-to-date best to worst villains list, and some people seem to be really confused about how the best to worst villains list works, because, well, I'm confused too, because it's like half determined by who's my favorite, but half determined who I think is also a good villain. So that's why Arlong is like 5th, because I know he's a good villain, but I don't even want him on the list because I don't like him. But I like Django, Buggy, Miss Wednesday, and Alvida. So I don't know if I should create 2 separate lists for this, because it's determined both by my favorites, memorable characters, and then also a good villain, because Arlong is a good villain, Don Krieg's a good villain. I hate them both, but they're good villains, you know. Whereas Django, Buggy, Miss Wednesday, Alvida, Kuro, even Kuro, he's a great villain, but I like him. I don't know why. I don't feel about Kuro the same way I feel about Don Krieg and Arlong. So that's why this list is really hard to actually make. But I saw someone get really offended or some shit. Like, I don't know, he was like, okay, no, I'm joking. Not joking, but I'm exaggerating. He wasn't offended. He was just like, it was like he was looking down on me because I put Arlong as 5th best to worst villain. But clearly he didn't listen to my review then, where I explain that this list is quite confusing even for myself. Which doesn't matter. He doesn't have to listen to my review. But I feel like if people don't listen to my review, they shouldn't ask me questions or comment on what I say in, like, they shouldn't come and read this list and then, like, not take the time or question my thoughts here if they didn't take the time to listen to my thoughts. Like, because then, yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I take time to explain these things, and if you're just gonna, like, question, like, they said something like, oh, I've lost all hope when I saw Arlong was 5th on the best to worst villains list. Like, clearly he thinks Arlong is a great villain. Good for you, but that's not how my list works exactly. I don't even know how my list works exactly. But yeah, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching with me. I had a lot of fun with these 2 episodes. Today is Sunday, so this video, I'm gonna edit this review in, upload it. It should be up like early Monday morning, like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., hopefully in South African Standard Time. I'm watching the next 2 episodes Tuesday. So after I post this, it'll be Monday, and then Tuesday night I'll watch it, very late usually on a Tuesday. I'll be doing another 2 episodes, and then I'll be editing on Wednesday and finishing up with the review, because I type my notes while I edit, and then I do the review part and edit that in on Thursday, so that it'll probably be up on Thursday night. So thank you guys for your patience. I'm having a lot of fun with One Piece, and I hope you're having fun with me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.